Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hot Rod's Blazing Topics, where the culture meets the mindset. Oh, here we go, guys. How y'all doing? Welcome to Hot Rod's Blazing Topics. First of all, I want to apologize for what the hell happened 30 minutes ago. I had scheduled the live to be literally on my MacBook, but I scheduled a live on my MacBook, but I used my tablet to actually do the live stream, and a whole bunch of stuff with settings and all that stuff. But nonetheless, though, hey, I'm here. I apologize again for the delay, but welcome to another episode of Hot Rod's Blazing Topics. It's your boy Hot Rod here, back with another one, back with a live stream. Listen, we're going to talk about a few things today, right? And I know I want to say, like, on Thursdays, I pretty much do ladies' night on Thursdays. So it's pretty much hot topics, relationship topics, culture topics. But we focus on not just the ladies, of course. I call it the ladies' night on Thursdays, but it is for all of us. It's for man and woman. So definitely share the channel, share the live, let everyone know. I'm always live once again on Mondays and Thursdays. Thursdays is set for ladies' night, though, right? Well, I'm not even gonna waste too much time, as I already know I came on late, so I'll jump straight into it. First of all, I'd like to say, please, once again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Please engage in the chat. Let me know what you think throughout this, live stream, the conversations, and all that stuff that we having on right now. So I just had a topic today that was just interesting. It was in my mind all day, and I said, what am I going to talk about today, right, on the first episode of literally Ladies' Night? But I had to go back and think about things that I've literally been to as far as relationships over the past, maybe 7, 8, 10 years, my dating history. But I would say I haven't really been in a full-blown relationship in years. I've dated, of course. I've attempted to get in a relationship, but it's just, I don't know, maybe with time, I took a journey for myself to self-heal. And, I always say I had to strip down all of my flaws, right, before I get into the next relationship. That eventually never ended up happening. But, today's topic is going to be pretty much when I was sharing on the socials. It was, I was asking the question of, have you ever been to a silent breakup, right? And I know when people think about a silent breakup, they automatically think about just ghosting hell out of someone. No, that's not what I mean. I'm not saying a silent breakup of, let me just ghost you and never hear from you ever again. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I meant at all. Because I did get some engagement. People was wondering, like, what do you mean is this when you say silent breakup? So, nor am I also talking about you literally breaking up with someone over a text message and not calling them over the phone because you don't want to talk to them. Now, I don't mean that either. I mean, I think that's actually passive aggressive, right? But, hey, to each his own. But when I was saying silent breakup, I was saying silent breakup in the sense of, for me, like my experience when I've been through a silent breakup, right? It's in a mental standpoint. Like when I say a silent breakup, I'm talking about in the standpoint of, I've been processing how I'm going to break up with this person, but I just don't know when, right? And that sounds crazy to even make that type of like statement, right? Because like, how can you even think like that? That's actually crazy. That's even worse than passive aggressive. Like you really riding someone along. No, that's not what I'm saying either. So my experience when I say silent breakup is, mentally you've checked out of something, right? But you ever realize like someone that you really have a lot of hope for, right? That you really like, right? You really like, you want to see things work out, but mentally you are just gone. You've checked out of this relationship. You cannot do it anymore. No matter what you try, what you do, the conversations y'all have back and forth with each other, it's just, the reality is the writing's on the wall. This thing is over, right? But the fact that you are two souls that you feel that could be with each other, but two souls don't always align, right? And at least at that time, right? And for me, it was a matter of, I knew I was done 6 months before I actually initiated the breakup, right? That's wild, right? But for me, I knew like, I wanted to give this individual a chance, right? Over and over and over and over. And I was like, yo, we had the conversations, right? Whether it's on the phone, face to face, arguments, whatever the case may be. But I felt as though, like, yo, this person has so much potential, right? This person has so much potential that you want to see it get to the next level. But sometimes two people are just aren't on, aren't on the same page, and sometimes two people just aren't literally in the same stage of life. And for me, that's what it was, right? It was like, yo, what can I do to make this thing work? Like, I'm writing it out. I really want to see things work out. But now, am I literally causing myself, self-inflicting pain, right? Because the more I know I'm prolonging this and I'm letting this go, I'm only hurting myself. Because this individual clearly show you with their actions where they stand, right? They're not willing to change. Nothing has literally changed within the past couple of months. You know this person well. You just see like, yo, no matter what I do, what I say, they're not willing to bend. They're not willing to change. And that's what it is. You're not supposed to be trying to change someone. Someone must be willing to change for themselves, right? But for me, I felt like, yo, you know what? How do I then say it to a person that they have a great heart, they mean well, but it's just right now, realistically, they're just not in that space that they shouldn't be dating, right? But you like this person so much, right? You like this person so much and you want to see it work, right? You want to see it work, but the reality is it's just not going to get nowhere. So it sounds messed up that I had to wait 6 months to say it, but that's because I was going through trials where I want to see like, yo, can this person change? What can I do, right, to maybe stand out more, to make this person see like, you know what, I am dead serious, right? What can I do to be like, yo, I know my words is nothing but just words is it don't mean nothing. Word my actions have to show. But if I feel as though then my actions is showing, I'm displaying everything to be involved in that relationship, but for some reason it is still a struggle, you got to know when to let that go, right? You shouldn't be holding on to something because off of false hope, because that's when you start to kill yourself. And at the end of the day, someone will literally know. They can see literally when you don't have respect for yourself. And no matter what the situation is, self-respect means everything. If you don't have that, you literally have nothing. It's equivalent to saying if you don't stand for something, then you don't stand for nothing at all, right? And that's what it is like when you talk about in the context of this conversation, if you know that the person doesn't really value you, or they don't see your potential and your value, or they may see it, but they still want to play games around with you, then you shouldn't stay in that because you're not doing right for yourself. You're not treating yourself, right. Is you doing wrong, you're doing harm to yourself. Because at the end of the day, now you're going to be caught up in your own feelings. You're going to be having demons and, and your own personal demons within yourself. You're going to be questioning everything inside you. You're going to be wondering, am I doing something wrong? What am I doing wrong? And then sadly, you let that carry on to the next relationship, right? So for me, I knew I had to take that mental break, right? I knew I shouldn't be going into a relationship afterwards. I needed to self-heal. I need to realize maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong. What is it that, I need to change with myself? And I had to look myself in the mirror and say, maybe I was too nice, right? Maybe I was too soft. And I don't think I was, but I feel as though maybe the person took me for granted. And therefore now they feel as though a lot of times you won't go anywhere. You'll stick around, right? You'll be there. They'll use you as much as they can. They may feel as though maybe like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll spin the block one day and this person will be available too. These things happen, and next thing they don't value you the same because you don't even value yourself, right? So you got to know when to kind of know when is that time to literally walk away. So I knew though I didn't want to hurt this person's feelings. Maybe who knows if they feels were even hurt anyway. Maybe I did them a favor and they just didn't care. But I would like to think they did care, right? The time that was spent during that time, you would hope they did actually care, right? But then at the end of the day too, like, yo, I want these things to work out, but it's not working out. What you got to cut the tie. But you also know that this person has a great heart. You don't want to hurt them, right? But you also know you're hurting yourself the longer it goes. So I had to sit there for literally 6 months. I'm just sitting there plotting, like thinking, damn, how am I going to break the news to this person, yo? The person that I know in my heart of hearts, I do genuinely love. Like, I love this individual, but I know I got to do what's best for myself, and I got to get myself out of this. I got to get myself out of this relationship, right? Whoever joined the chat, man, thanks for joining the chat. But I knew I had to get myself out of this relationship. I shouldn't be in this at all. But hey, I said, dog, make the best decision for myself, and the conversation had to happen. And I think it was worse because, if anything, I should have cut it off sooner, and it felt like it was a whole relief off my shoulders when I did that. But nonetheless, though, it makes me to think about other questions when you're talking about the emotional aspect of things, right? How do you think do you think you leave quiet? Do you think leaving quietly means you've healed at the same time, right? For those who do actually break up with someone over a text message, or you just completely ghost them, do you feel over time do you heal, right? I don't know. I don't think over time I would heal if I literally just ghosted someone and broke up with them, right? Excuse me. I think on the emotional aspect of it is like, yo, this person may not ever know how I felt. They may not never knew why. Or maybe I'm gonna start questioning myself like, though, maybe if I would have had a conversation with them, things would have changed, right? So ghosting someone in that sense, I don't know if I would have even done that. I don't think I would necessarily like be able to move on from that, because I know as though like I still maybe had some feelings that I didn't get to let out. But right, was saying the things I need to say to this individual as to why I broke up with him. But I do know as though that it's important for me to express myself, let them know, maybe give them that closure. Yo, you know what I mean? Jay, what's going on, man? We on that topic, bro. We on that topic. We was talking about. I explained, what it does it mean, right? Because I know people was questioning earlier when I said, have you ever been through a silent breakup? And I did kind of break it down, and I was talking about it, pretty much what a silent breakup is, right? And it was pretty much you processing the time frame and when you need to let someone know that you're going to break up. So I was saying that for me, like I said, it took 6 months to actually let this individual know that I was done out of this relationship, but it was hard to let it go, right? It was hard to let them go because I genuinely wanted it to work out and I liked them. So that's why I got to. So now the question I have for you to chat is, as far as an emotional standpoint, do you think leaving quietly means you've healed too as well? And like I was saying, I don't think necessarily leaving is yeah, right. This is the calm before the storm. That's true. That's true. And to each his own. It may, like I said, it may be passive aggressive for some, right? Maybe whack and corny because you dragging it. But hey, to each his own. It is the calm before the storm, though. But I think ghosting someone, like I said again, for me mentally, I won't never sit right with just ghosting someone. I feel like I need to express and let that individual know, like, yo, this is how I feel. This is why I'm breaking up with you. But I don't think I can just fully just ghost someone and not text them, not call them, and let them know like, yo, I can't do this anymore. I think that for me mentally, I won't be able to get past that. And what if you run into this person in public too? I think that would be crazy. Like, yo, what if you at the mall, you at the park or somewhere, you at the supermarket, you go to grocery store and like, hey, how you doing? Oh shit, I ghosted you, like 2 years ago and I ain't never give you that closure. I think that'll just be very, very awkward too. Like, I wouldn't want to deal with that. So I think it's, for me, my approach is, I would literally just tell the person like, yo, I no longer want to do this, X, Y, and Z, and move on. Now, why the other question I would have to ask is why we walk away quietly, right? The truth about breakups that no one really talk about. Like, why do we walk away quietly? For some people, people walk away, like I said, they don't want to deal with the fight and the argument, right? The stress of it that comes with it all. For some people, they feel as though to protect their peace is just, hey, quick exit left, right? People walk away for many reasons, quietly. Especially if you know the person you're dealing with. I think that plays a factor. If you know someone who's, and it's not, I know a lot of times people think that women only go through that, but men go through that too. In the form of abuse and manipulation, right? Someone can get to you. They know how to they know your feelings, so they use it against you, right? They know how you are, your personality. So then every turn you get and you try to break up with them, they'll know they'll know the right things to say. They know the right things to do to kind of pull you back and draw you in all the time. And that's why it's like this hard escape and you can't get away. I think that knowing certain individuals, it would be very, very tough for me to be like, yo, let me just stay and talk with them and see if it's going to get past somewhere. So see if I'm going to be able to exit without it going left and turn to a petty fight and argument, or this person trying to string me along and now they're causing me emotional abuse. I also think that that's what it is. I think that for me personally, I wouldn't do that. So I guess the question I'll have to ask you all is, have you ever been through a quiet breakup? So that's why I think that that's something we should definitely dialogue. Please check in the chat. Definitely, when the stream is over, you can still definitely, answer the questions in the chat. Tell me how you feel. Tell me your response to the topic today. Have you ever literally broke up with someone quietly? It was an interesting take. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Hot Rod. I thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you once again for joining, y'all. Thank y'all again. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, ladies' night every Thursday, ladies' night. But of course, we live every Monday and every Thursday night at 8:15. Once again, I apologize for tonight. I was half an hour late. I had a hiccup with the live. I literally set the live up on my MacBook, and then I usually, like I said, I go live on stream on my tablet, and literally everything just like failed. I should have went to the settings and I fucked shit up. But nonetheless, Hot Rod's Blazing Topic, y'all. I'm out. See y'all till next time. Listen, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more blazing topics. Catch me live every week at Hot Rod's Blazing Topics. Stay lit, stay locked, keep blazing.